Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are looking at something truly fascinating. Whenever we hear buzzwords like innovation or tech disruption, our minds usually jump straight to, sleek, multi-million-dollar laboratories with espresso machines and massive tech campuses, right? But what happens when the drive to create and solve real problems exists far, far away from those pristine environments? How does grassroots innovation actually happen on the ground in India? Well, today, we're going to unpack a brilliant case study by following a digital paper trail from a nationwide initiative right down to the specific students who actually made it happen.
And this right here is the core mystery we're going to solve today. How do students build complex innovations without their own lab? Think about it. If a school doesn't have the funding, the equipment, or the physical infrastructure for high-level technical research, does that mean its students are just locked out of the innovation economy? As we'll see today, the answer is a resounding no. We're going to uncover a very specific mechanism of cross-school collaboration that completely changes the game for these young minds.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, the initiative, the ATL Marathon 2021. Alongside the official emblems of the Government of India, Niti Aayog, and the Atal Innovation Mission, you can see the core mandate of the entire program clearly laid out. It's broken down into 4 distinct phases: research, ideate, innovate, implement. So this isn't just about coming up with a neat idea on a whiteboard and calling it a day. This platform demands that students follow through all the way to the implementation phase. It's literally an innovation marathon, testing endurance and practical application. But again, that brings us back to our big question. How do you implement a massive idea if you don't even have the gear?
Moving on to Section 2, the catalyst, the power of partnership. Take a look at this. It's a scanned copy of an official undertaking document, dated April 12, 2022, and it is the actual, tangible mechanism for grassroots innovation. Complete with the stamps and signatures from the headmasters, this single sheet of paper is the formal agreement establishing a partnership between 2 distinct educational institutions in the Alipurduar and Jalpaiguri districts of West Bengal. It is literally the institutional bridge that crosses the resource gap.
Let's break down the exact dynamic listed in that document, because it's pretty clever. It establishes this fascinating framework of a parent and a child school. On one side, we've got the parent ATL Center, which is Union Academy and Kalchini. They are the ones with the Atal Tinkering Lab. On the other side, we have the child school, Dhupguri High School, which is referred to as a non-ATL school in the paperwork. So Dhupguri doesn't have the lab, but as we're about to see, they have some incredibly driven students. This structure basically pairs the hard infrastructure of the parent with the raw talent of the child school.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how thoroughly the legal framework removes every conceivable barrier for the child school. Based on clauses 2, 3, and 4 of that undertaking, Union Academy commits to 3 massive provisions. First, total access to their lab, their equipment, and any virtual licenses. Second, and this is huge, they provide the necessary financial aid for travel or logistical arrangements so the Dhupguri students can actually get to the lab to submit their project. And third, they mandate technical and mentoring support both physically and virtually from the designated ATL in charge. It's a completely comprehensive support system. Which brings us to Section 3, the innovation, engineering for social inclusion. So fast forward a bit, and we can see the digital footprint of all their hard work. Under the ATL Unique ID 2854-15898, there's an application submitted under the name Partha Ghosh for Dhupguri High School. This standard utilitarian web interface, that is the gateway where their local grassroots collaboration officially enters the national marathon.
So the crucial point is really in the project details they submitted. Out of all the problems they could have tackled, they chose the theme of social inclusion. And even more specifically, their sub-theme targets innovating to build inclusivity in terms of languages and cultures, striving for localized access to information related to education, financial literacy, and government policies. Think about that for a second. These are teenagers, and they are targeting massive systemic societal issues.
And just look at the actual title of the project they submitted. I'll read it exactly as it appears. Comparative study between artificial and natural sensors, as observed in the nature to bring changes in Indian judicial system and others. Wow. Just take a second to appreciate the sheer ambition dripping from that sentence. These students, leveraging a borrowed lab through a parent-child school partnership, are doing comparative studies on natural and artificial sensors with the stated goal of bringing changes to the Indian judicial system. It is an incredibly bold, high-level concept that perfectly embodies that research, ideate, innovate, implement mandate we saw at the very beginning.
All right, final chapter. Section 4. The culmination. Celebrating the achievement.
This official certificate of participation for the ATL Marathon brilliantly illustrates the human element behind all that administrative paperwork we were just looking at. Authorized and signed by Mission Director Chintan Vaishnav, it is the ultimate validation of their hard work and their absolutely successful navigation of that parent-child partnership framework. I really want to focus on the names printed here because it proves how beautifully this whole system actually works in practice. The team members listed are Samir Aran, Subhadeep Biswas, and Ayan Roy, all under the guidance of Amitava Gupta. Now, if you remember our undertaking document from earlier, Samir is a Class X student from the parent school, Union Academy. Subhadeep and Ayan are Class XX students from the child school, Dhupguri, and Amitava Gupta is the ATL in charge from Union Academy. On this final certificate, those institutional labels just fade away. They aren't separated by who owns the lab anymore. They are simply one unified innovation team.
Right smack in the middle of that certificate, printed in bold, purple lettering, is a very simple message. Congratulations and keep up the great work. It represents the government directly recognizing the incredible effort it took to secure a partnership, travel to a totally different school's lab, conceptualize a project to reform the judicial system using sensor technology, and see the whole shebang all the way through to submission. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. What complex societal issues could your own community solve with the right localized partnerships? We just saw how a simple undertaking agreement unlocked the potential of students who were previously restricted by resources. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other brilliant ideas are out there just waiting for a parent institution to open its doors and share its tools? Keep that in mind as you look around your own community. Until next time, keep questioning and keep learning.